January 15, 1990. A cold winter afternoon in Boston. Suddenly, without warning, a wall of thick, dark molasses, 25 feet high and moving as fast as a freight train, tore through the streets. Buildings collapsed. Horses drowned. And people were swept away in a sticky tide they couldn't escape. This is the unbelievable true story of the Great Molasses Flood of 1919. To understand how molasses became a deadly force, we have to go back to the early 1900s. Boston's North End was a crowded neighborhood filled with immigrant families. Looming over them was a massive storage tank, 50 feet tall and 90 feet wide, owned by the Purity Distilling Company. The tank could hold over 2 million gallons of molasses, used for making rum and industrial alcohol. To the company, it was just business. To the residents living below, it was an unnoticed time bomb. From the very beginning, the tank was flawed. Locals reported leaks. Children collected free molasses that dripped down its sides. Workers painted the tank brown to hide the stains instead of fixing the problem. The steel was too thin, the construction rushed, and safety regulations were ignored. For years, the tank groaned under pressure, waiting for the day it would give way. That day came on January 15, 1990. Around lunchtime, temperatures suddenly rose, causing the cold molasses inside to ferment and expand. With a thunderous roar, the tank exploded. 2 million gallons of hot, sticky molasses burst out, creating a wave more than 25 feet high, racing at 35 miles per hour through the streets of Boston's North End. Wooden houses were crushed instantly. Freight cars were thrown like toys. Horses in stables drowned where they stood. People who tried to run found their feet sucked down by the sticky flood. Those who fell were swallowed whole. Survivors later said it sounded like machine gun fire, the rivets shooting out of the tank as it ripped apart. The aftermath was chaos. Streets were buried under molasses several feet deep. Rescuers struggled to wade through the thick syrup. Every movement was exhausting. Police, firefighters, and the Red Cross rushed to help, pulling survivors from sticky rubble. But for many it was too late. 21 people lost their lives that day, and over 150 were injured. Some were crushed by debris, others suffocated in molasses so thick they couldn't cry out for help. The cleanup was almost as legendary as the disaster itself. Hundreds of workers with brooms, hoses, and shovels tried to wash the city clean. Molasses stuck to cobblestones, seeped into basements, and clung to everything it touched. For weeks, Boston Harbor ran brown. Even years later, residents claimed that on hot summer days, you could still smell the sweet, sickly scent of molasses in the air. The Great Molasses Flood sparked one of the largest legal battles of its time. The Purity Distilling Company insisted the tank had been sabotaged by anarchists. But after years of hearings and testimonies, investigators concluded the truth. The tank was poorly built, poorly maintained, and doomed to fail. The company was found liable, forced to pay victims and families nearly $1 million, a massive settlement in the 1920s. More importantly, the disaster led to stricter building codes and engineering standards that still influence construction today. Today, the Great Molasses Flood lives on as one of history's strangest disasters. What sounds like a dark comedy was in reality a devastating tragedy. It reminds us that negligence can turn even the most ordinary things, like sugar syrup, into instruments of destruction. In Boston's North End, a small plaque now marks the site of the disaster, honoring the 21 lives lost. And though more than a century has passed, the story still flows through history as sticky and unforgettable as the flood itself. If this story fascinated you, make sure to like this video, Subscribe for more unbelievable true stories and share it with someone who's never heard of the Great Molasses Flood. Because sometimes the strangest disasters carry the most important lessons.